For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. On infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections.
If I were the devil, I'd take from those who have and give to those who want it until I had killed the incentive of the ambitious.
Violence and vandalism is being led by Antifa and other radical left-wing groups who are terrorizing the innocent, destroying jobs, hurting businesses, and burning down buildings. They are coming after me because I am fighting for you. That's what's happening.
Greetings, fellow thought criminals, and thank you for joining the insurrection. I'm Michael Lauber. This is Derek Evans. It's Friday, and we're closing out yet another glorious week in America's new golden age.
That we are, man. Hey, things are rocking and rolling under the Trump administration. I think we officially, yesterday was 1 month in office. It's been a glorious month, as we all know. As always, guys, like, share, subscribe, all those good things, whatever platform you're watching on. And we're going to take a quick minute. If you haven't done so, if you have a Rumble account, go to Rumble, look for X America News, the letter X, America News, and go ahead and subscribe to us over there on Rumble. That would be a huge help for the network that we're trying to build over here to bring you guys all kinds of awesome shows. But anyways, whatever show you're, whatever platform you're watching on, hop in the comments. I'll give you guys a shout out just like this. We got Kelly Song in the X America News Rumble chat we were just talking about. And then we've got JC from Texas, Thaddeus, and Cheryl over here in the my feed on X. So appreciate you guys for tuning in.
Yes, thank you for being here. And yesterday marked a huge milestone with Kash Patel being confirmed for his role to run the FBI, and DC is in panic as if they weren't already before. And we're going to kind of do a mini meme review this morning because I think this kind of illustrates the point perfectly. Kash Patel looking in on the Epstein Island. He's pledged to release these files. Originally said the first day assuming office. I think that's kind of might be pushing it, but a lot of people are saying we'll have these files released within the next 10 days. And Derek, what was it you were telling me this morning? Who is it that just pushed some legislation forward in the House?
Oh, it was, let me find it here really quick. It's House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer, and I don't want to get the what he said wrong, so I'm just pulling that up. Yeah, it was House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer says he wants to uncover whether the federal government worked with Jeffrey Epstein to blackmail certain individuals. And then I also want to say that yesterday at CPAC, Benny Johnson had the opportunity to interview our new Attorney General, Pam Bondi. He asked her about the Epstein stuff, and this was yesterday. She quoted, this is a quote from her. She said, I was just briefed on that yesterday. So that'd be the day before yesterday now. I was just briefed on that yesterday. I'm not allowed to talk about that specifically, but what I can tell you is that there are a lot of documents, and President Trump has been very clear on what he is wanting to do. He's been very clear about that in the past, and I can tell everybody, promises made, promises kept. The files are being released. It's going to be awesome. So I just wanted to, that was yesterday. Yeah.
Well, based on what Pam Bondi just said, I wonder if we're not going to actually move forward with prosecutions as well. That kind of seems like what she's hinting at there. Well, the FBI responded to Kash being confirmed as their new director. And let's see what else we got here. We have a response from Chuck Schumer. About what I'd expect. Oh yeah, perfect. And then here's a artist representation of RFK Jr. and Kash Patel on their way to dismantle the deep state.
That's unbelievable. That's ridiculous.
And then we have this from Cash. This is, we will follow the Constitution and the rule of law, but make no mistake, we will make all of the conspirators pay dearly for lying to the American people, whether they're government officials or in the media. You're officially on notice. We're coming after you. And I think that just sums it up pretty well. And then breaking, Kash Patel vows to hunt down those seeking to harm Americans in first statement as FBI director. And if the people weren't scared in D.C. before, they certainly are now. This guy means business. He knows where the bodies are buried. And this guy is a proactive change maker. He's like President Trump. If he says he's going to do something, it's going to get done. So expect to see a lot of crying. If you're in D.C., you may get flooded with liberal tears. And be careful, because they're going to freeze over.
Absolutely. I want to shout out to Dan Dreyer in the Rumble chat, the ex-American News Rumble chat. And then we've got Country Boy from Jacksonville, Florida over here on the X chat, as well as House Doctor. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. I'll tell you, for me, I've kind of said this a little bit on a previous show, but I want to break it down a little bit more. For me personally, I can't speak for anybody else, but for me personally, I feel like in terms of potential arrests and potential charges being brought against some of these, these deep state actors, to me, that's the clock has just started. I never even remotely expected any of those things to happen before Kash Patel was officially confirmed in the FBI. So I know that Trump has been in office for a month, and there's been some people who's like, I love that we're uncovering all these things, but I want to see arrests. I think that you need to take a step back and look at it from the perspective of, we just now, less than 24 hours ago, got Kash confirmed to the FBI. It would have been really, really dumb to start making arrests of people and everything when you don't even have your own person in charge of the FBI at the time, and you're trying to get that person in there. It would have just really muddied the water. I'm not saying any arrests are going to come. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that for me, in terms of the clock counting, in terms of how many days it's been, to me, this is day one of, okay, now we're day one without any arrests. And so that's kind of how I've been breaking it down. And that's how important I think the Kash Patel appointment really is. Oh yeah.
I think another thing that, very few have really connected the dots on, at least in the dinosaur media, is that DOJ and their investigations, where they've uncovered a lot of this waste, fraud, abuse, and potential kickbacks, that just teed up even more investigations for Kash Patel and the FBI. Now that they know where some of this money's going, it's time to bring in people that can actually do the investigations from a law enforcement perspective, and then potentially begin recommending charges for some of the people that have been essentially, literally and figuratively laundering our money throughout government agencies and anyone that's been receiving kickbacks for doing so. So the pieces are in place now. I mean, this is the thing that I really think is just a miracle, that everybody that Trump has put forward has been confirmed, with the exception of Matt Gaetz. And I'm really starting to wonder now if that wasn't just a deception to begin with. Throw somebody out there that we know they'll all just react like he's kryptonite to, and then kind of force their hand, so then the less controversial nominees all make it through.
Yeah, I have to wonder that as well. I think it's awesome. It's sad that some of them were a tie. I don't remember which one it was, and J.D. Vance had to come in and actually break the tie. Dan Dreyer brought up a good point. Kash got in 51-49. I mean, one more vote and it would have been a tie over there as well. This is actually really crazy when you think about that. I mean, and these are Republicans. The Republicans have 54 seats, and we're squeaking by getting these people confirmed. I want to give a shout out to Dean. I agree with you, Dean. Dean says we need to see arrests. Our country needs to heal. I'm here for it, man. I was a January 6th political prisoner. Nothing would make me happier than to see these people arrested. They deserve to be arrested. But like I said, for me, the countdown clock or the clock, today is day one in terms of when there could even potentially be arrests. I think it'll be a little while. If there are, I think that, they're going to do some actual investigations into this. I don't think they're going to arrest people just because we don't like them. I think that if charges are brought, they will be justified. And I think that's the right way to do this as well. Someone who went through that. And then I want to give a shout out to Richard from Rhode Island. And then my fellow West Virginian, Jim Bart over here. I appreciate all you guys for tuning in.
Yes, thank you. And I agree. I mean, I want them to be able to lay out the case in an undeniable way, so that we don't constantly face these charges of political persecution when that clearly won't be what's going on. Now, here's the other big thing that Kash brings to the table. He's talked about the need for a declassification czar, so to speak, somebody that can also be I think he called it like an office that runs 24 hours a day, declassifying these documents, especially when dealing with corruption in the federal government and political persecution. And that's something else he's going to bring to the table over at the FBI, is he's going to be recommending whole case files, huge batches of documents for Trump to then declassify. And again, I'm sure if Kash hands it over, I'm sure Trump's going to be like, yep, declassify that, release it to the American people. So this is also going to tear down a lot of their plans. It's going to expose a lot of what was going on, and it's going to put them on the other end of the microphone trying to answer questions about why they did these different corrupt things, and that'll be in addition to charges that people may face.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I mean, Kash is not going to back down from any of this. I mean, he's been very consistent from day one on all of this. I love the old clip where he mentions that if he was in charge of the FBI, he would close it all down and turn it into a museum for the American people. I love that statement. My fingers are crossed, Kash. I hope that's what happens. But yeah, I'm really excited about Kash getting in there. I think it's a huge win for the American people. And then we got Kilroy over here in the Getter chat. Kilroy says, we want major perp walks ASAP. Military tribunal would be a lot quicker. I have to listen, man, you're preaching to the choir over here. We're with you on all of this. I would love to see a lot of people were excited that Joe Biden and his little posse were leaving their offices. I wasn't. I wanted to see them dragged out of those offices in shackles with the whole world watching. That's what would have made me happy. But I'm still holding out hope that we're going to see them dragged out of their homes. I'll tell you that honestly, at this exact moment, the first people that I want to see arrested are these virtue signaling left-wing extremist mayors and governors who are out here knowingly aiding and abetting terrorist organizations and foreign invaders of our country. I want to see Tom Homan and the boys go into these governors' mansions, into these mayors' offices with a camera crew, live stream the whole thing, drag these politicians out by the hair of the head in shackles with them screaming and crying and kicking the whole way. That's what I want to see happen. I want to see some accountability for these bums who are out here committing treason against the United States of America.
Yeah, bingo. Well, and I do think we're going to start seeing kind of some of that stuff, but it is going to take a little while to wind these cases up. Again, I'd much rather we have all our I's dotted and T's crossed, that there is no question that this is a valid case going forward. So it makes it much harder for the accusations of political persecution, because they're already screaming it on the left. So that's only going to intensify. Well, they did have they promised a protest at the FBI if Kash were to be confirmed, and we got it. A whole 5 people showed up. I thought we were supposed to see like 4,000 agents out there that were afraid that Kash Patel was going to destroy our democracy. Well, apparently that was yet another lie. Instead, we got Adam Schiff and a few of his buddies, and I don't know where he found that trench coat, but that something's wrong with that.
Oh, dude, it was hilarious. The whole thing, Senator Whitehouse, I believe his name is, from Rhode Island, was just like, Kash is going to commit so much evil in this building behind us. And I do think it's funny, though, that, the left didn't show up to this little protest. They canceled another one a week or so ago. So, like, Trump is only a dictator. Democracy's only at risk if the weather's good. I bet it was too cold for these people to go out there. I mean, you can't even make this stuff up right now. Some more shout-outs here. We got Chris Gleason. We got TM from Alberta, our 51st state of Canada. And then we got MAGA Minute in the house. Good account to follow. And then we got, I don't know how you say this, Mugad. Sorry, man. I'm just going to move on. Stephanie and Richard, appreciate you guys for tuning in. But yeah, I mean, look, they only showed up to protest. They built this thing up. So there's going to be a huge protest. And then I don't even know if anybody in terms of regular citizens showed up. Probably a couple of people holding cameras and those 5 whack jobs who are, somehow get elected, got up there on their little soapboxes and were speaking. Adam Schiff was funny too.
Did you happen to see the one like overview shot where there were more journalists there than protesters? Well, considering there really were no protesters, it was just the 5 people that staged it. Yeah, no one else showed up. There was probably, I don't know, 30, 35 journalists, something like that there. They outnumbered the entire crowd. But, again, like you said, these leftists, I think right now they're just so broken that if it's a little bit cold outside, they just want to stay at home, drink their hot chocolate, and cry into a pillow because they're just watching their illusions getting torn down from everywhere. And a lot of them know that there's going to be justice coming soon. We've talked about a bunch of times now, the exponential increase in searches for criminal defense attorneys, overseas bank accounts. We're seeing all these houses go up on the market in D.C. They know their little corrupt empire is coming to an end, and that everything else that they pushed on the American people, it's all being wound back, from the tranny madness to DEI to the rest of the corruption we've seen within the federal government. It's all coming to a close. Same with the gravy train that all of them have benefited from off our backs for the last 20 years. It's all collapsing right now, and they know it.
Absolutely. I was trying to find out exactly what Schiff had said. I was looking it up here. So he said, basically in a nutshell, Adam Schiff at this little protest says, Kash Patel is a political hack who will weaponize his position against his political enemies. You have to remember, this is the same Adam Schiff who was censored by his colleagues in Congress for lying. Now think about this. All these politicians are liars. They're professional liars. And to the fact that Schiff was censored by professional liars for lying, how big of a liar is this guy really at the end of the day? And he got one thing correct, though. Kash Patel, I wouldn't say weaponized, is going to come after our political enemies who have been weaponized against the American people, who have been breaking the law to target American citizens for being Trump supporters, who broke the law for going after President Trump the way that they did. He's going to, my opinion, release information about the guy in Butler. How the hell do we still not know any information about the shooter in Butler, Pennsylvania? How do we not know anything about this guy? I'm confident that Kash will get to the bottom of that. That's going to be something that I think everybody's going to be interested to see. I would imagine the Trump family is going to be interested in seeing all of that. But there's a lot there. The media, the deep state, has tried their best to memory hole that whole situation in Butler, Pennsylvania. That's like the thing that they never want to talk about. And they've tried to make people forget about it. But we're not going to forget. And we want there to be some accountability. And I want to see some people arrested, because we know that crooks did not act alone. And I want those other people to be held accountable for it.
Oh yeah, bingo. Yeah, they talked about how he had was communicating with foreign nationals on some app on his phone. That was a story for a little while. Who else was he working with? How did this guy have no social media presence? And all the other weird stuff around his parents and his house and the search. That all needs to come to light. And if he did work with anyone within the federal government, or was one of these people on a leash from the FBI, then we need to know that. And it's time, again, for real justice there as well. And then also exposing whatever corruption went on behind the scenes that allowed this to happen. Because I have trouble believing this is just purely incompetence on the part of the Secret Service and others there. This seems like that would have had to have been orchestrated. There's just so many things that went wrong. This isn't like we talked about it before. This isn't like this kid was hidden between a fence, a kilometer away, and somehow they missed the line of sight. There's so many things that went wrong that there had to have been something going on. I mean, again, it's law of averages. This kid was not equipped to do this on his own. Somebody pushed him up there to do it.
Absolutely. That's exactly right. And, you brought up something earlier that I think is a really good opportunity to tie this into President Trump's statement earlier. We were talking about the protests there when, they didn't show up, and, they're kind of down right now. So President Trump put out this statement this morning on Truth Social. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but to me, one of the key things that I took from this statement was President Trump says that, that they, talk about the Democrats, they have lost their confidence and spirit. They have lost their minds. So, he's saying that they've lost their confidence and spirit along with their minds. We knew that they've lost their minds for a while now, obviously. These people are crazy. But I do think that they have lost their spirit a little bit right now. In 2016, when Trump was first in there, they were protesting and trying to burn down D.C. every single day. I don't know if they've really lost their spirit and their confidence, or if we shut down the U.S. aid funding that was paying for these protesters to show up. So there's you know what I mean? Is that what's happened here, or have they really lost their confidence, or are they just no longer being paid?
Oh, yeah. I wish I could remember who it was that posted this on Twitter yesterday, but it's literally what you said. It was, well, without the USAID funding, I guess they can't get their rent-a-mobs out, with a picture of, Schiff and the other four there at the podium. And I bet there's a lot of truth to that now that they're not paying these people to be there in the cold weather in D.C., they're not going to show up on their own. I also think it's, some of them, they see the writing on the wall. They know they've been caught, and they're too scared to get out there and pretend to be upset again right now, to clutch their pearls and whoever else's pearls, that they know what's coming. A lot of them probably are already talking to attorneys and other things, and they're also concerned that they're going to get treated the way they treated conservatives after January 6th, or people that protested in front of abortion clinics or other things, that now they're going to get a taste of their own medicine. Instead of getting off with a slap on the wrist when they do something like that, that they're going to face the full weight of the federal government as they're pursued for the crimes that they committed.
Absolutely. Well, it's funny. I'm gonna give. We got Martha over here in the X chat. We got Chris French watching from Wisconsin. Appreciate you. Buck, great minds think alike. Buck had put in the chat a little bit ago. I saw it though. No funding for protesters left since USAID shut down. So I think that everybody. I think there's a little bit of consensus here. I think that everybody's kind of come to the same conclusion that the left has lost their confidence, has lost their spirit, as President Trump said. But I think some of that does have to do with the fact that they no longer are able to steal our tax dollars and turn around and pay these people to come out and protest against us by, paying them through USAID and everything. So I think that's really what a big part of what's going on here. So just want to throw that out there.
Who knew all it would take to crush their souls was to remove the pronouns from their bios? All right, guys, we got to take a quick break here from our sponsors, and then we'll be right back with even more.
Play your trump card and support Make America Great Again with the Donor Deck. Get your hands on 52 exquisite playing cards, each with powerful quotes from scripture and stunning artwork. Plus, showcase your MAGA pride with a beautiful display case and a reversible challenge coin. By purchasing the Donor Deck, you become an official donor, contributing to our cause and helping President Trump reclaim the White House. Get your Donor Deck today and play your part in making America great again.
Go to the Patriot.tv store and get your Donor Deck now.
Attention business owners and entrepreneurs, Patriot TV is launching a brand new TV series showcasing American-made products, and your business could be featured. Whether you sell your products online on Etsy or Shopify and dream of reaching millions of viewers on smart TVs like Samsung, Sony, TCL, and LG, or apps like Roku, Android, and Apple TV, this is your chance. We're searching for US-based businesses offering all types of products and services proudly made in the USA. If you've ever wanted to showcase your products on TV like QVC or the Home Shopping Network, now's your opportunity. Support our American economy, grow your business, and be seen by loyal Patriot viewers across the country. Know someone with a business or have a business yourself? Don't miss out. Contact us at supportingpatriots.com today. Be a guest on this new exciting TV series. Let's put your American-made products in the spotlight.
What do a neurosurgeon, a country artist, and a television and radio host have in common? They all saw the writing on the wall. Big banks sharing your financial information with big government. Join them as owners in Old Glory Bank, the pro-America online bank that protects your privacy, security, and liberty. Invest today at own.oldglorybank.com.
Thank you for staying with us. And again, the best way to support our program and all the programs on Patriot TV is by supporting our sponsors. Well, let's get right back into it because the fun never stops. More liberal tears in the forecast. Breaking. President Trump authorizes DOJ to start cutting government regulations. Well, if you thought you saw a lot of people crying in the streets before, get ready for it to really pick up as we start going through EPA regulations, all this other nonsense and madness they've snuck in through these independent regulatory agencies over the last 30 or 40 years. They're going to act like we are literally destroying the country because their little fiefdoms are all going to get canceled. All these regulations that have gone in to clip businesses, especially with the through the EPA and other little justice projects, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Yeah, and there was actually there's a lot of going on here with Doge. There was a federal judge that just allowed Trump's mass firings of federal workers to move forward. That's another huge win there as well. So, I've never seen the left lose their minds over like they are choosing some weird hills to die on, I guess is what I'm getting at. Like, to me, the trans thing is a weird, very strange, weird hill to die on, and they are dying on that hill. I think that Doge is right there with them in terms of the things that just, common sense things that are just so popular with the average American that the Democrats are like, nope, don't want nothing to do with it because it wasn't our idea, sort of thing. Like, it's crazy to me that they are out here actually openly not only defending government waste, fraud, and abuse, they're out here fighting to protect government waste, fraud, and abuse. They're not just talking about it. They're fighting. They're filing legal briefings. They're fighting in court. They're literally telling the American people, we want to continue stealing your money, and we want to continue sending it overseas and laundering it and self-enriching ourselves with this money. And they surprisingly have brainwashed a good portion of the population of our country to not only accept that, but to think it's a really good idea, that they think that's the way it should be. It's absolutely mind-blowing, honestly. There should be some studies on the effects of brainwashing that are done on these CNN viewers who actually believe that Doge trying to cut waste and give you $5,000 back of the money they stole from you is a bad thing. Like that needs to be studied.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, what they're really panicking about here too, and again, this is just starting, so expect it to get a lot worse from their side, is where some of these agencies are doing things that are beyond their scope and purview. And this is the infestation of, again, like environmental regulations or gender ideology, DEI, being pushed through like the USDA and other places where it just doesn't belong. It has no place there. That's not even remotely what that agency is supposed to be doing. So a lot of these things where they've been infected with the liberal woke mind virus are all going to be eliminated through the majority of these agencies, and their agencies themselves are going to be reined in, got under control. And there's all these like silly examples. Like I think we've talked about this before, where the FDA and OSHA have opposing rules about what direction doors can open inside of a facility that produces food. The OSHA says they have to open out in case there's a fire or an accident and people have to escape. And then I'm pretty sure it's the FDA. It might be the USDA. I may have this backwards. It says they have to open in for some other, to prevent contaminants from coming in. So you have opposing laws, and you can't follow both of them at the same time. Well, opposing regulations. So that's the kind of thing they're going to go after. And then again, just these places where people overstep their bounds. EPA is going to probably take a massive beating from this, because they've been just doing whatever they want for decades now with no repercussions except for when they lose in court, and then they still go out and do the same thing over and over again, even when they're slapped back and they're told they don't have the power to execute these type of regulations.
Absolutely. I got to give some shout outs over here. We got FG and Sean, or FG over here, and Kilroy over in the Getter chat. In the X America News X chat, we've got Marble Knot, Sick and Twisted, Andreas, and then Brad from West Virginia, my fellow West Virginian there. And then over here in my chat, we've got Joyce, we've got the Patriot, and then we've got Making Sense over here as well. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. But
shout out to Mel Gibson over there, the Patriot.
That's right. So back to what we were discussing, though, there's a couple other things that's kind of happened over the last few years that are really leading up to this moment, too, of reining in these unconstitutional bureaucratic three-letter agencies. Everybody knows about the Chevron, the Chevron case there, where they did that. But there's also another one that I don't think got as much attention as it deserved. I believe it came out around the same time as the Roe versus Wade ruling. It's West Virginia. I'm from West Virginia. But anyways, it's West Virginia versus EPA. You should look that case up. It explicitly states that these three-letter agencies are not allowed to create law and then, enforce law and all these other things. So it really kind of goes hand in hand with some of the other cases. But what I'm saying is, as the Trump administration starts to shut down this bureaucracy from these three-letter agencies, and the left starts freaking out and they start filing all these motions and briefs and all these things, the Supreme Court has already ruled in favor of what President Trump is saying and what President Trump's administration is attempting to do. The Supreme Court's already ruled in our favor. That's a huge accomplishment that we've already got in our back pocket as we move forward to clean up these agencies.
Oh, yeah. Bingo. And, a lot of this is Congress shirking their duties. They don't want to be responsible for instituting laws and regulations that the American people don't like. So they're not doing that. And instead, they've allowed these government entities to usurp their authority and just do whatever they want. Well, that's not the way it works. There is a balance of power in government that needs to exist. And we can't have regulatory agencies making rules, making laws without the approval of Congress or the signature of the president. And that's what's been going on for decades now. So Trump will be reining back in that power and eliminating a lot of these agencies that are now unnecessary or doing direct harm to the American people. We've talked about this over and over again. The Department of Education is an utter failure. Every year since their existence, the level of education that American students are getting has declined. And a lot of that's because instead of enforcing better methods for teaching reading, writing, and arithmetic, instead they're worried about global warming, DEI, and whatever the flavor of the month is for the left. The trans madness, the tranny madness, whatever it is, that's what they're more concerned with, instead of making Americans smarter, teaching them to think critically, and equipping them to be successful in the world. Instead, we're intentionally turning them into cry closet losers.
That's exactly what they are. They're cry closet losers. I like that saying. I think that sums it up pretty well there. I was over trying to catch up on some chats over here. So, but man, look, this whole thing is just. I think that we were talking a little bit off air earlier. I hope that people are truly taking the time to enjoy the moment, enjoy what we're living through, really appreciate what we're living through. I believe that if President Trump and his administration are able to accomplish everything that they are wanting to accomplish, and I believe that we can, I believe even more so if Kamala Harris runs in 2028 and J.D. Vance runs in 2028, I think that's a recipe for J.D. Vance winning and continuing this movement. We are potentially living at a time where we're going to be able to look back and tell our children and grandchildren that we lived through the second revolution, if you will, in terms of giving the power back to the people, getting rid of this tyranny, cutting the head off of the tyrannical snake in D.C., if you will. Obviously, it's a much more peaceful revolution. But honestly, man, it's just, I would say we live under more tyranny today than our founding fathers did in 1776. So even though it's hopefully going to remain peaceful, I would say it's just as important, if not, it's just as important as the first one in terms of restoring power back to the people, restoring individual freedom and liberties back to the individual.
Well, hopefully it does remain peaceful, because one other thing we were discussing off air, and we'll probably cover this in depth on Monday, because this is a story that's just been kind of breaking over the last few days, but it's just simmering. There's not a lot of attention to it, but there's a number of leftist activist groups that are calling for an armed protest in D.C., encouraging people to bring their guns to D.C. for a protest. And that's obviously illegal in D.C. You're not allowed, and the Second Amendment doesn't really exist. I mean, that will hopefully change soon. But the fact that, again, they're calling for an armed protest, our leftist media gives it no attention whatsoever. But, what do I expect from them at this point? Of course, they're going to carry water for the left, pretend somehow this is a good thing. And this is a direct, it's Trump's fault that they show up armed, unlike, how they treated the J6 protesters. Well, again, the left keeps picking battles that seem to be indefensible. We are not in the business of giving out money. Ratchet hood rat Representative Jasmine Crockett opposes Doge dividends after backing reparations for black people. And again, the positions they're taking right now are just absolutely insane. And they wonder why their popularity is just cratered. Because when you go out and say, and you take the position that, well, even if Doge did uncover all this fraud and spending, well, we don't give that money back to the American people. That's ours to spend. That's our money, not yours.
Wow, there's a lot to unpack here. So first of all, Jasmine Crockett is a ghetto skank. I don't care who that makes mad. She's trash in every aspect. It's very sad that she's representing a portion of the population of our country. Looked at her and it's like, that's who I want to represent my district. She is trash. It's ironic. It's ironic that someone from the left would say they're not in the business of giving out money. That's literally all the left does, is gives out money. They steal our money and then they want to give it out to whatever pet projects they believe in. If they're not in the business, if the left is not in the business of giving out money, then let's go ahead and shut down all the subsidies for the climate change cult initiative out there. Let's go ahead and shut all that down, because that's giving out money. That's picking winners and losers. If we're not giving out money, then let's no longer use Medicare, Medicaid, any other public funds for that matter to fund transgender surgeries for minors. If we're not giving out money, let's stop using money to prop up Planned Parenthood. I know that somebody's going to fact check and say, well, they don't use it for abortions. I don't care. They perform abortions, and I don't want my money going to that organization at all. I don't want to be paying their electric bill. I don't want to be paying the salary of their receptionist who's taking somebody's order to come in to get an abortion. So it might not be paying for it directly, but it is indirectly funding those things. So the left Jasmine Crockett says they are not in the business of giving out money. That's literally all your party does. That's all that you do is you create this victim mentality amongst a portion of the population. You have them convinced that they are not capable of being successful on their own because of the color of their skin or where they're from or their sexuality. And you have convinced them into believing that their only thing they're capable of is sitting on the couch and sticking their hand out and complaining about the little bit of money that you give them and that they deserve more. That is the mentality that you on the left have created. So I agree with you. We should not be in the business of giving out money, but we should be in the business of shutting down waste, fraud, and abuse and returning that money back to the people. You're not giving me anything. You stole it from me, and now I'm getting it back. Big difference there, Jasmine Crockett.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, and seriously, people in Texas, what the hell are you doing? Get rid of this lady. What went wrong there? Who had what mental dysfunction that allowed her to get into office, of all people? But that's a whole nother story for another time. But yeah, you're exactly right. And what she's really upset about right now is the fact that we've uncovered their piggy bank, smashed it, and now we're exposing to the American people where all this money was going, being wasted. And that's everything from, the tranny madness, funding transgender operas in Venezuela or wherever it was, transing cats and dogs for scientific experiments. Again, I don't understand the obsession, this tranny madness on the left, and all, funding the media, funding George Soros, funding all these leftist causes here and around the world. And that's all being exposed and going to be eliminated. That's what she's really upset about, is we've cut the purse strings on funding the left, and they won't be able to do it themselves. And I'm sure her and a lot of other people know what's coming for Act Blue and a number of others as these investigations roll out, and know they're going to probably be penniless going into this next election in the midterm, and they're not going to have the money to fight back. They're going to be so unpopular it doesn't matter. I bet we take a super majority in the House in the next election cycle, especially if things continue on the path they are on. And I don't see the left reversing course on that anytime soon.
Well, Kelly Song over here in the Rumble chat says those who support U.S. aid should donate the $5,000 to the nonprofit of their choice. The liberal hypocrites will not do that. I got one for you. If the left is opposed to Doge, they're opposed to receiving the $5,000 back that was stolen from them. They are and they love Ukraine so much. When these checks get cashed, they should turn around and donate their check to Zelensky, not to Ukraine. They should give it to Zelensky so that he can buy another mansion, buy another big yacht of some sort to sell around the world in. Since these bleeding heart liberals, that's all they want to talk about is Ukraine. Donate your own money to Ukraine. Donate your own. Zelensky could start a GoFundMe account. They could post the link right there on his social media. Everybody with Ukraine bio, all your money could just get direct deposited right into that account. Looking at you, the Krasensteins, for instance, they want to sit around and virtue signal all the time about this Ukraine stuff. If you really love Ukraine that much, you got two options. Number one, donate your personal money to go over there and fund this stuff, and your other option is to hop on a plane, fly over to Ukraine and volunteer to stand on the front lines. If you're not going to do either one of those two things, shut up. Everybody's tired of hearing from you guys on that. And guess what? Krasensteins or anybody, and Harry Sisson, you guys love Ukraine so much. If you don't have a way of getting over there, we, the American people, we will fundraise. I'll pay out of my own pocket. I will buy you a one-way ticket to Ukraine under the condition that you are volunteering to stand on the front lines over there and actually put your money where your mouth is. But we both know that you guys will never take us up on that offer because all you want to do is virtue signal.
Exactly. Well said. We got to take one more break here from our sponsors, and we'll be right back with even more.
Have a new product or idea? Whether it's already in production or just a concept. Whether you're an individual, a small business, or a medium-sized company, our upcoming show on Patriot TV is here to showcase it to millions and launch it in a big way. We're looking for businesses like yours to feature your product on our new show and pitch it to over 6 million followers, eager to support like-minded businesses. Whether it's a single product or a new product line, we have a platform to skyrocket sales. With powerful Patriot TV ads, targeted direct mail, and the influence of our dynamic show hosts, your product will get the attention it deserves. Don't miss this incredible opportunity. Email us now at advertise@patriot.tv to secure your spot and watch your sales take off.
I couldn't give anything a higher endorsement.
I would be remiss had I not include Cardio Miracle on my very short list of secrets.
It's the real deal. It's a real product. It's not another supplement.
I'm operating about 6 to 8 hours, and I've noticed that being on this Cardio Miracle has made a huge difference.
Since I started taking Cardio Miracle, I'm about 8 months into it, the benefits have been fantastic.
You know, if I get hungry, then I just have a Cardio Miracle.
Not only is it safe, but it's necessary to take Cardio Miracle to stay well.
This let me sleep. It's feeling like more energy, more get up and go, and it's all because of what this company does.
For me as a doctor, Cardio Miracle is a staple.
Cardio Miracle to me is hope in a glass.
To try Cardio Miracle for yourself and get a special fan discount, go to the host page right now and click the link for Cardio Miracle.
Thank you for staying with us. And again, the best way to support our program and all the great programs here on Patriot TV is by supporting our sponsors. It's time to make America healthy again. Give Cardio Miracle a shot. You can go to patriot.tv, select the insurrection. There'll be a link right there that'll get you a substantial discount off a 2-month supply. This stuff works great. You guys saw me this morning finishing off my my morning dose. And again, if we want to succeed, we want to get the message out to as many people as possible. We've got to support the companies that are making that possible. And again, this is a great value for the money. It's really helped with my energy level. I've been able to dramatically cut down how much coffee I drink every day, and I'm sure my heart thanks me for that. Well, I promised you more liberal tears, and we're not done yet. Well, this is just happening, so the tears haven't even started yet. Trump appointees may take action to suspend and review COVID-19 vaccines. Well, RFK Jr. is getting to work already, and it's time to take a look at these mRNA vaccines and whether they're really helping or hurting people. And I think after this announcement from Dr. Birx yesterday in her statement where the COVID-19 vaccines were never designed to stop infection, well, I think there's going to be even some people in the middle, even some normies are starting to ask some questions.
Wow, there's a lot to unpack with that. But first, I'm going to get some shout outs here. We've got United We Stand in the X chat. We've got a lot of chats going on here. DMR, Stan Bryant. We got Jen. We got Amber Nicole. We got Chris Gleason. Appreciate all you guys for tuning in. So, man, there's so much to unpack with this whole COVID stuff still after all these years. The left loves to use words that are not real. For instance, trans women are women. No, they're not. I mean, and for anybody out there, the way I understand that trans thing is the word trans means fake. So if I see trans woman, I know it's a fake woman, meaning it's a man. So hopefully that helps somebody else understand that, because that's how I understand it. But vaccines. This was not a vaccine. A real vaccine prevents you from getting it. right? So they're calling this a vaccine while telling you that it's not going to prevent you from getting it. That's not a vaccine. I don't know what that is, I guess. But the whole thing is, I want to see that what I guess what I'm trying to say is what they have just started and implemented here in terms of doing all this is a start. I want to see Fauci arrested. I want to see Fauci in shackles facing charges for crimes against humanity, because what Fauci did, knowingly did, and not just with COVID. This has been on for years with the torture of animals, with the AIDS stuff. I mean, this guy is an evil mad scientist, and he has been given the keys to basically, or had been given the keys to unlimited funding, if you will, through taxpayer dollars. And we gave a mad scientist a blank check. I mean, this is something that you would see in a movie, for goodness sakes. And this man has been out here in charge of everything in our country. He needs to be arrested. He needs to be held accountable.
Yeah, and there's some good news on that front too, and I think we covered this a while back, but there is a coalition of states. I believe it was 12 state AGs. I may have the number wrong, because this is a little while back. I think it was just before Trump's inauguration, that they were planning to band together and fight these preemptive pardons for Fauci specifically that Biden had issued, saying that they were unconstitutional and were going to take this fight to the Supreme Court. And I hope they do, and I hope they win, because then that'll set the precedent that we need to eliminate the other Fauci pardons that Biden issued for, Adam Schiff, for Liz Cheney, and for our favorite America's first crackhead, Hunter Biden, Ukrainian energy expert and artist premier Hunter Biden, because that's who really needs to face justice, is him and the whole Biden crime family. A message needs to be sent that this is not acceptable and will never be tolerated again. And we need to go after others that were violating the law and enriching themselves, selling access, whatever else, as those are uncovered by Kash Patel and other people in the Department of Justice.
That's exactly right. These people, man, they're just so evil. There's been no accountability for what they did, and we know enough that we've uncovered on our own, or through just our own research, that we've public information. There's enough there that Fauci should be arrested just on public information alone. Now, I know he's received the pardon. I know that throws a little bit of a wrench and things there. I don't know if a pardon covers crimes against humanity. I don't know. I know that a pardon would not cover state crimes. Where are the attorney generals on the Republican side? Where is show me one attorney general in a Republican safe state who has the backbone to bring state charges against Anthony Fauci. That's what I want to see happen. That's what they done. That's what the left has done for the last little bit, except they made up charges. These are actual charges. These are actual crimes. These are actual laws that have been broken. And we're surely to goodness, we're not just going to give this guy a pass because Joe Biden stroked a pen and said that this guy's pardoned from anything he's done for the last forever. I mean, surely to goodness, we're going to go after these people in some way or another. And when I say go after, I don't mean targeting them just because there are political opponents the way that they did to all of us. I don't want somebody, one of these little protesters out in DC. I disagree with them, but I don't want them thrown in solitary confinement for holding a sign at the Capitol. That would be insane. I would definitely speak out and say this is wrong. But these government actors who have knowingly committed these crimes against us, and in a lot of instances, I believe, did it as a way to self-enrich themselves, and not just with money. Sometimes we talk about self-enrichment; it's not just money. I think Fauci was more power hungry than money hungry, to be honest with you. I think he loved the power that he was given during COVID, and I think he was self-enriching himself with that. And I think these people need to be held accountable, man. They really do.
Oh, yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think we need the Supreme Court to address whether a broad pardon is even legal, period. I mean, it's not mentioned in the Constitution, inoculative pardons, but the fact that this doesn't even name a specific crime they're being pardoned for, it's just all crimes in general. I don't understand how that could possibly be legal, that you could just totally inoculate people from anything they did. Because, let's keep in mind, this wouldn't just cover the crimes that we know about that Hunter Biden and the rest of the ilk committed. This would be, let's say we find evidence that he committed a homicide to cover up some of his other crimes. Well, that means as of right now, he couldn't be prosecuted for that either. So this does need to be taken to the Supreme Court, and we do need real answers on this, whether inoculative pardons are legal, period, or whether you can just do a broad pardon, not name any crimes, and say, no matter what, back to 2014, these people aren't guilty for anything that they did, doesn't matter what it was. Anything short of treason.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I've got some awesome chats. It's amazing. It's very rare that a line of comments kind of line up all together so eloquently or so great for me, anyways. So we got Jen over here. She says fraud. She spells it with a D. Fraud. C instead of Fauci. I think that's good. But anyways, we got Thaddeus. Thaddeus says Biden was incompetent when he issued those pardons. And then Amber Nicole says, I'm still lost on how Biden was unfit to stand trial, but mentally capable of pardoning criminals. I have to agree. This is awesome. And then DMR says it's so bizarre how they, the left, say follow the science until it's inconvenient. And then DMR is asking, what about a class action civil suit against Fauci? Would that work? I don't know. That's a really good question.
He's not an
Go ahead, Mike.
It'd be civil, so that would be in civil court, and the pardon wouldn't mean anything then. That only covers criminal court.
Yeah, so I don't know if there's anybody out there thinking about doing that. That would be awesome to do that. And I would imagine that some people, I don't know this. I'm just throwing stuff out like America's Frontline Doctors, Simone Gold. Those people maybe that's something that's in their wheelhouse that they would be interested in doing. I'm not sure, but I'm all for it. I think it'd be great. So yeah, but I loved that comment thread was just all right in a row. It was perfect. I had to read those off.
Well, let's go ahead and jump here to the next thing. Breaking, and we did touch on this earlier, but federal judge allows Trump admins mass layoffs to proceed. And again, we all knew this was coming. We even talked about this a little bit a couple days ago, that Sean Spicer and Stephen Miller helped set some of these traps over 4 years ago, knowing that when Biden came in, he would do mass layoffs, eliminate all of Trump's people and everything else. So they already got a judge to say that, oh no, the president has the power to fire whoever he wants.
Absolutely. Well, I do want to, I got to answer a really quick question before I comment on that. Shanna over here in the X chat asks, has anyone noticed that Kash has dropped off the face of the earth? When's he swearing in? So I know it's been a month, but a lot of people have probably forgotten within that first few days to a week, the Trump administration put out a thing saying that anyone who's been nominated for a position to stay off of social media and stay out of the media while they were waiting to be confirmed. And so it's just taking a little bit longer than we were expecting on some of these. So that's why you haven't heard from Kash, or partly why he's not a huge look at me media person anyways, but they were instructed to avoid media and social media until they got confirmed. I think that was smart, so that way things could not be twisted against them. I think Trump probably knew it was going to be close to getting them confirmed anyways, and wanted to make sure that they got them across the finish line. So I wanted to answer that first. But yes, these judges, these corrupt activist judges need to be reined in. We need impeachments. We need to remove these judges from the bench, from the power. I don't know in what world a judge thinks that they have more power than the president, but this is very concerning. Not only that they're taking this action, it's concerning that these judges in their little judge circle, if you will, their little circle of influence, that they have been allowed to think all this time that they were that powerful. Think about the type of person, or the brainwashing, if you will, or like their mentality on the bench. If they think that they are more powerful than a duly elected president of the United States of America, that is very scary. And I believe that we are headed for some sort of constitutional crisis here if this is not fixed immediately. And this is beyond President Trump. This is not. Trump is just kind of shedding a light on this, I believe, with everything that he's doing. But there's going to come a moment when one of these judges says, you can't do this. And Trump says, I'm the president. By the Constitution, I can do this. And then he does it. And so at that point, we're going to be, I don't know what's going to happen. This is, to my knowledge, never happened before. But I believe that we're headed towards that, and we need to get this addressed quickly. And actually, I do hope it happens. I hope that it does happen so that we can hopefully get a Supreme Court ruling to put these corrupt activist judges in their place where they belong.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it needs to happen. And we need to remind the Democrats and their allies in the media, I guess I kind of repeat myself, but we need to remind them that there is constitutional authority bestowed upon the president, and that needs to be respected. They can't just find an activist judge that's willing to go out and unlawfully try to curtail those powers. If they want to fight it, they can change the legislation and in some cases amend the Constitution. Otherwise, these powers are clearly spelled out throughout the Constitution, especially in Article 2. So, again, it shouldn't be a question. These judges should be laughed out of court. And in reality, they should all be impeached and removed because they clearly don't understand their obligations or their duties and how they are bound to the Constitution and the American people. Well, we're almost out of time, but I got one other hero I want to highlight. Trump justice staffer set to be fired for helping Doge is suddenly put in charge of entire agency. So this has to do with the Social Security Administration. And this gentleman was in a position to help curtail waste, fraud, and abuse and was working directly with Doge. It's part of the reason the director there that tried to block them stepped down. And guess who the director is now?
It's glorious. So first of all, I got to answer this question over here in the chat. Shanna, I just get a quick search. According to KUTV, whatever, a local station, they're saying that Kash is supposed to be swearing in sometime today. It doesn't give it a time, but it says that he's going to be swearing in Friday, which is today. So hopefully that helps you out somewhat. I don't know the exact time when he's getting sworn in, but yeah, this whole story was awesome. So the guy, yeah, he was helping Doge behind the scenes. The agency found out. They kind of reached out to him. He admitted to it. Yeah, I've been helping Doge. Absolutely. He had already told his family. He had already told his wife, his family that he was getting fired. He just accepted that reality that he was fired. His career was done. And by the end of the day, instead of being fired, he's now in charge of the agency. He's also a very big anti-fraud type of person. I think it's awesome. I think it's glorious. And I don't think you could pick a better person to be in that position than the person that they were trying to fire for sharing the fraud that was going on there. So I think that's a pretty good place.
Yeah, can you imagine his wife's reaction when she got the call or the message earlier in the day that he's probably going to be terminated, and then he gets home from work and he goes, "Guess what? I wasn't terminated. Instead, I got a promotion."
That's hilarious, isn't it? My wife would be like, "You were lying the whole time." She wouldn't believe me. She would think you were just making that up. That's what she'd say.
You're just trying to make me nervous, make me scared. Yeah, it's probably exactly what you'd hear. But yeah, this is the kind of person that we need in charge of those agencies. And I think really every government agency, somebody whose main directive, their driving force is going to be looking out for the American people and how their money is spent, calling things into question, going after fraudsters and prosecuting them criminally. Because we've got to send a message that this is unacceptable. And as we found out, apparently the Treasury will just pay any invoice with their name on it. They don't question anything or look into where the funding's going. And that's been a big part of the problem. So having somebody in charge of these agencies that is fiscally minded and doesn't think that the American people are just a giant unlimited piggy bank, that's really the direction we should be heading with every single department.
Absolutely. And I do want to clarify really quick. I was kind of doing some more, I know it's quick, trying to do some quick research here for you guys in the chat asking about Kash. So I'm reading that he was officially sworn in last night, and then Trump signed something, I don't remember exactly what it's called, in the Oval Office, took a picture and showed it as well for that. What happens a lot of times, just so you guys are aware, a lot of times there'll be the swearing in to make it official, and then they'll schedule and have the public ceremony that's more for the media, the press, the family, all those sorts of things once it's official. So he might have technically been sworn in last night to just go ahead and officially put him in that position, with a more public one taking place today or some other time. I don't know that. I'm just trying to give you guys as much information as I can. But thank you guys so much for watching and hanging out with us. We appreciate it. As I said earlier, before I pass it to Mike, if you guys haven't done so, if you have a Rumble account, please go to Rumble. Go to X America News on Rumble and subscribe over there. We're trying to build a really good, just an overall network of shows similar to ours. People sharing the truth and everything to get under one banner so that we can start, promoting that and growing it. So that'd be a really big help to us. Thank you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, again, thank you guys. Please like, share, and subscribe. Help us to grow so we can bring more people the news the mainstream media doesn't want you to hear. We'll be back on Monday with even more.